teacher. She's a meditation instructor, a life coach, a sound bathologist, a sound healer, and she is so much more. If you haven't tapped in with Saharah Ali, I suggest you do. It is time for Mindful Mondays. Good morning, Saharah.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning, KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Mondays, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions, honoring our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation as we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with our power, faith, truth, and wisdom. Today, I'd like to unpack the celestial influence of Mercury in retrograde, starting today in Aries until April 26th. Giving us an opportunity to pause, reflect, and let go. Mercury changes directions like 3 or 4 times a year, shifting our perspective, aiding deep introspection and renewal. Mercury's goal is to keep us in present time, and Aries' task is to support action needed to move through present time with willpower, faith, and trust. The gift of Mercury retrograde empowers the expression of both sides of our brain. Our right brain opens, stimulating intuition, clarity, and creativity, leaving the left brain for linear thinking. Retrograde planets bring light to all things good, bad, or indifferent, facilitating karmic balance and appraisal of all things. It's allowing us to redo, rethink, reframe, and go over old ground to face truth, retrieving our power from the effects of Mercury retrograde. So over the next 3 weeks, we have an opportunity to reframe and refine our thoughts and actions. This period allows us to focus on our goals, let go of unnecessary elements, clarify. The call to action is to unapologetically embrace self-love, lean into inner wisdom, focusing on wholeness, trusting miracles to manifest under grace and ease. And remember, make extra time for all tasks and exercise lots of patience. Most of all, slow down to receive divine guidance supporting major changes. So going forward with our Mindful Monday meditation, let's get centered, let's ground ourselves, and opening our heart and mind to embrace 3 weeks of miracles and blessings unfolding, aided by Mercury retrograde. So let's quiet our minds, take a breath, tap into inner peace. Allow yourself to be right here, right now, in present time, and slowly breathe in and out. And every time you exhale, allow yourself to release any tension or tightness in the body. Allow yourself this moment to connect to the wisdom within. Just breathe. And as you breathe, breathe in, opening your heart and mind to change. Breathe in and exhale, and just breathe, centering yourself, allowing yourself to honor the wholeness that already exists within you. Breathe, centering yourself, grounding yourself, and be here now, one with your breath, one with the power of wholeness within you. Quieting your mind, calling on your angels to aid releasing and letting go, to embrace truth, to align your mind and body to receive your highest good. Connect with your breath. And every time you exhale, let go. And every time you inhale, make the promise to engage in self-love, compassion, and patience. Acknowledge every moment offers a positive change, an empowerment, and an opportunity to grow and to change our minds, to change our lives. Breathe, relaxing and releasing and letting go. And clear your mind of any expectations. Clear your mind of any doubt. Give yourself permission to be right here, right now. Be still and listen. Listen to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Just quiet and center yourself and take the biggest breath you've had all morning. Hold in that breath. And as you exhale, listen with an open heart to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Listen with your heart, listen with your mind, listen with your spirit, and open yourself to the possibilities that the words of an affirmation create. Today, I unapologetically embrace my wholeness, ready to review, retrieve, and renew all aspects of my life. Today, I unapologetically embrace my wholeness, ready to review, retrieve, and renew all aspects of my life. Know that you are in charge of who you are willing to be, and we are in charge of making the change to go past the illusions that exist on this planet right now. So take a breath and lean into being unapologetic to embrace your wholeness and ready to review, revise, and renew all aspects of your life by standing in truth, honoring your wholeness, ready to embrace a new beginning for yourself. Thank you, Dominique. Tavis Smiley, Miles, and the 1580 KBLA family. Have an unapologetic, mindful, blessed week.
Sure.
Embracing wholeness. Yeah.
Before you leave us, I know you out of here like a retrograde. Today's the official last day of retrograde, right? Even though you talked about retro shade. If it's 3 weeks of retrograde and 3 weeks of retro shade, we're basically under the influence of going backwards most of the time. I always thought the retro shade was like 3 to 5 days. Now you're saying 3 weeks? That's insane.
This one is, because it's a big wobble. It's a new beginning. It's a lot of change. And the Mercury influences is connected to Neptune and Aries. So it's really about clarity. And so this long 3 weeks of wobbling, retro shade happens 2 weeks before Mercury goes retrograde and 2 weeks or 3 weeks after Mercury goes direct. So Mercury goes direct today, but the planet has to wobble. It's like a spinning top. And if you have a spinning top, and if you've ever watched a spinning top, it spins and spins and spins, and then as it slows down, it starts to wobble, and you don't know which direction it's going to go. And so the planets, all retrograde planets, they engage in this type of activity. But the wobble coming into Mercury retrograde is real, and the wobble going out. But the wobble going out brings us a different perspective because we just finished Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is going to bring up things. It's going to uncover things. It's going to bring things to light. And so as it wobbles out, we already know what we've been hit with Mercury retrograde. So now as it goes into retrograde, we know what's coming. We're dealing with it. And it gives us an opportunity to empower ourselves and to not be a victim to what came up with Mercury retrograde. And all of this is just a fix-it ticket. What do I need to look at that I'm not looking at? Where do I need to rethink something? Where have I made a decision and this decision isn't panning out the way I want it to be? I want to renew and renegotiate with myself and whoever I'm doing business with, or to see where you missed something, where you didn't see like, oh, that person is shady. I didn't know that when I first met him. I thought that was really cool. And so you get to say like, okay, I need to take my power back from this because this is not going to serve me. The level of integrity of which someone is operating doesn't serve the wholeness that I seek from this union. So it's really a gift. And it's a celestial influence. It's like a magnet, as above, so below. And we are affected by this consciously and unconsciously. And because it's in Aries, it's about empowerment. It's about not being victims to the illusion. And it's also an opportunity to get rid of outmoded programs and break old patterns and open ourselves to something new. And to really... we really need to think about, we talk about this political climate, but this political climate is doing exactly what it needs to do to help us reframe, review, reevaluate our power and how we hold this power, how we use this power, and where we've gone to sleep in our power.
So Miles had a question. We'll let him say it.
Yeah, so you going right where I was thinking, connecting the as above, so below, the the astrological events going on with things going on in our day-to-day lives. And I was trying to see if there's any connection you see between what's going on astrologically and the stock market going bonkers right now.
Well, the stock market reflects the frequency of our consciousness. If we're afraid, they're going to be afraid because our whole thing, and we have been programmed that stock and our money and this and that. And so the thing is, everything in regards to the structure of our government is being reviewed and reevaluated. The Constitution is up for renewal. The astrology chart of the United States is up to bring light to the things that are archaic, the things that can no longer fit where we're going as a future humans, because it's about a collective. And that's what this is all about. It's not about pointing the finger at anybody. It's about how am I as an individual willing to honor my power so that I can see the light and power in this other person. How can I release these archaic programs and anything that is saying that I am less than this and I am not this and I am not that, so that you can define, well, who are you then? What are you willing to do? How are you willing to stand up? How are you willing to be in charge of who you really are? We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we forgot about the spiritual part. We got caught up in the material and defining ourselves by our money, by all our material things, as opposed to saying, you know what, there's a divine power greater than myself. And that's what's going on, that we need to remember there's a divine power greater than us that is seeing all of this. Now, the whole thing is it a divine program, or is it something we've created and this illusion that's in front of us that we have given our power to rethink and to say, okay, like, this is not my truth. So then what is your truth?
Yeah.
And how are you willing to live your truth?
I mean,
and how willing are you? Mm-hmm.
And that goes like beyond the stock market. I mean, that's where we ended it with Lamika Castillo. We're picking it up right here, which is that fear is the real epidemic. More than Trump, more than war, more than high prices, fear is the epidemic. That's how I see it. We're allowing ourselves to get caught up in some cases, and I think a lot of us are shaking it off. That's what we saw this weekend with people marching, making all kinds of creative signs and speaking out. Is that people are starting to shake off the fear and find the courage.
Well, the thing is, what's being born is something that has already existed, and it's collective consciousness. We lost that. We lost that going to get Range Rovers, Mercedes, and Teslas, and all of this. Is like, I got mine, you go get yours. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, we all need to be in alignment of getting what is humankind. Not mankind, not womankind, but humankind. And that is why we're having this whole revolution in regards to sexual expression. So we can stop like putting people in a box. And we are not defined by our sexual experience, but we need to see that there is a diverse consciousness that exists out there, that you can't put everything in a box. And that is what is going on. We have to get we have to tear down the box, okay?
Yeah.
And expand our consciousness, expand our success cube. And to know that I want to say it this way, I have to say it this way. We run this mother. We run this mother. And how are we willing to be conscious of the power we have of running this? Not some White House, right? Not some archaic law that doesn't fit who we are and who we are becoming. Because the Most High knows better than us, and we'll get a fire, we get an earthquake, we get a flood. And what we're going to do? Where are we when we have these disasters? We come together. We are a collective.
Yeah, that's well said. Saharah, thank you so much for letting me do the follow-up question thing after our affirmation and meditation. All of these are on YouTube. If you want to talk to Saharah, maybe get a reading or some life coaching or a sound bath, private yoga one-on-one, you can call her assistant Elise at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783, or find out about the public classes at saharahali.com. Saharah, thank you so much. We appreciate you around here.
Thank you. I do have a sound bath coming up on April 19th at Yoga House, 6 to 7:30. Don't be late. They'll lock the door. Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a great day and a great week. And right now, KBLA delegation, is the perfect time to call me. The space is here for you. 800-920-1580. Miles Lowe, Dominique DiPrima, Saharah Ali, KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting. On Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominique DiPrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up. And we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall. Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. The first 100 attendees will receive a complimentary air purifier. This is a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Why do my friends think that I have all day to watch reels? I don't get it. My friends send me so many reels. I would literally have to sit there and watch reels all day to watch all of y'all reels. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram, obviously, at DiPrima Radio. On all platforms, I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. And you can find this station at KBLA 1580 everywhere. I'm even on Blue Sky now. I'm even on TikTok now. I guess TikTok got another extension. Trump gave him more time. He claims that the reason the deal hasn't come through yet is because of his own tariffs tanking it, which is funny to me. Yeah, I messed it up. The S&P now down again. They're saying it's in bear market territory after more losses in Asia and Europe. By they, I mean the New York Times. It is plummeting, down more than 3% this morning. And that is, they say, a drop of 20% or more from a recent high is bear. So we're going there. You know who's going to be here tomorrow? The founder of Brass Knuckle Finance, Jareem Person-Lynn. So he's going to help us unpack what's happening with financial markets and what it might mean for you, whether you own stock or not. And meanwhile, you know, the trade war is on, the retaliations are rolling in, and the folks asking for exceptions are rolling in. Hands-off rallies across the nation were packed. More than 1,200 different protests in all 50 states, more than 150 different community-based organizations, from Manhattan to Anchorage, Alaska, Portland, Oregon, of course, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Boston. There were thousands and thousands, as I said, all kinds of creative signs pushing back against fascism, authoritarianism. Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, just a few miles from Trump's golf course, there was a big one. So the resistance is starting. Trump was golfing on Saturday and on Sunday as the people hit the streets. To me, it couldn't get more telling than that. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice arguing that they can't return this man, a Salvadorian man who's married to a U.S. citizen who had a visa. He was here legally. He was sent to El Salvador, where there's a terrible prison with no human rights protections whatsoever. This guy, Kilmer Abrego Garcia. The judge ordered them to get him back to the United States by today at 11:59. Justice Department saying they don't have jurisdiction because he's under the control of another country, which is bull because they're paying that other country $6 million to house prisoners. But the Justice Department is trying to say that they cannot and that the judge is incorrect in that ruling. We'll see what happens. Again, defying the judicial branch of the government. That is very problematic. It's authoritarianism, actually. The United States is now revoking visas for South Sudanese people who, if they go home, will likely die. There's a huge war going on there, which is partly our doing, after, we encouraged the splitting off of South Sudan after a civil war there, the resurgence of that war, in the last few weeks. The country is a total chaos, and we're revoking people's visas and sending them back there. Meanwhile, Wall Street is freaking out. I said it last hour. They're angry. They're speaking off the record because nobody wants to be retaliated against. Nobody wants to be the target of Trump's ire. But bankers, executives, traders spoke anonymously to the New York Times over the weekend, saying all of this reminds them of the Bush crash of 2008, the Great Recession, when some huge Wall Street firms actually fell. The difference is there's no buddy coming to bail them out, right? There's no Obama coming to save the day. We are at the beginning of a Republican administration. Typically, they take several years to fully tank the economy. This time, it's happened within 2 months. And so Wall Street is freaking out because they don't see a bailout coming from Washington, and they're partying like it's 2008, and that ain't good. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. News, traffic, and sports, then more, only right here.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. A black family in North Carolina is suing 2 sheriff's departments for a botched raid on their home, causing physical and emotional damage. The lawsuit, filed by Avery Marshall and Elisa Carr, claimed officers ignored evidence and withheld vital information. Global markets are reeling from President Trump's tariff announcement. U.S. futures recovered slightly after a steep drop. Elon Musk suggested moving toward a zero-tariff situation and closer U.S.-Europe partnership. 4 girls are recovering after their uncle attacked them with a meat cleaver in Brooklyn, New York. Police shot the man, who is now in critical condition. The girls are expected to survive, and the uncle had a history of mental illness. And film and TV workers rallied for the Stay in LA campaign, seeking higher tax credits to keep productions in Los Angeles amid setbacks like COVID, strikes, and wildfires. Lawmakers propose increasing the tax credit to 35%. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the dagger?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers rode into Oklahoma City and put a beat down on the team with the NBA's best record. The Lakers dominated OKC with a surprising 126-99 win. 30 points and 6 assists for Luka Doncic. LeBron had 19 points and 7 assists. The Lakers play OKC again Tuesday night. The Clippers are off until Wednesday. Their 4-game winning streak has them in a tie for 5th place in the Western Conference with Golden State, Memphis, and Minnesota. The Connecticut women's basketball team had to beat USC and UCLA in the NCAA tournament before winning the national championship on Sunday. It was still a marvelous season for the USC and UCLA programs. Both teams were in the top 5 most of the season and put LA on the map in women's college basketball. UCLA was ranked number 1 in the nation for 14 weeks. USC and UCLA finished the season with a combined 65-7 record. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm ready. Let me just grab my bag. Sweatpants, huh? Didn't know we were keeping it casual this month. Yeah, I feel bloated every now and then.
You have to try new Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies. They have prebiotics to nourish good bacteria, probiotics to help relieve occasional bloating, and postbiotics for immune support.
All that in one gummy?
Yep. So no sweatpants next time?
Not anymore.
Align 3-in-1 Biotic Gummies for gut health support. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DiPrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
You are, and we're so glad that you are. Let's go right to Big Phil calling us at 800-920-1580. Big Phil, good morning.
Good morning. The devil don't sleep. I'm going to say 3 things. I got to move very quick. I want to get to 2. Everybody's talking about Marvin Sapp. Let me say one thing. That brother needs to go get some rehab. I think he's on a drug situation because his last conclusion, he said he's going to go back to upstairs, get some watermelon, all the doors open, and you guys will go now. The guy's having trouble.
Wait. Who are we talking about now? Who's a drug addict?
Marvin Sapp.
Okay, all right. You're talking kind of fast. If you could just take a deep breath for those of us who don't do coffee.
Okay. Well, you know what? You funny, Dominic. You kill a comedian. I'll be aging, okay? Anyway, get back what I'm saying. Let me say about this little guy, Hutt. He came last month, claimed he's going to clean up the thing. He only weighed about 165 pounds. They say he played NFL football. I don't know about all that. They say he did. But the key is, you say, what are you going to do? You praying, they had Donald Trump, all this, the big shots in the board meeting. He's over there praying. That brother praying the wrong prayer. He needs to be praying the right prayer. Because what Donald Trump going to say, if you're a pastor, say you're a pastor, he's praying the wrong prayer, bro, sister. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Well, look, I can't get to 3. I got to run. But look, I love you guys. You guys be careful because so much stuff going on. People losing their job, lost their homes.
Yeah.
Let's pray for them. I got probably hopefully getting more units. And, we are blessed out. We got a roof above our head. We got, it's just pray for it. It's just so bad. The devil just destroying a lot of people's lives out here right now. I mean, from the education department, you name it, from the veterans, they even cutting veterans. That's very sad.
Well, I think that's why we have to, stay away from fear as much as possible. People are facing real damage, but we have been through worse. We rebuild, we fall down, but we get up. We're resilient. Doggone it, how are we even still here, Big Phil? They done tried to crush us, stomp us out, kill us, abuse, and...
Yeah, I'm talking about people that lost everything. I mean, they lost it, 401k. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about serious.
I mean, whether it's in the fires or whether it's in, the economic free fall that we're experiencing right now, the self-inflicted drama. I mean,
absolutely.
Can you imagine getting a perfectly... Okay, I know you got to go. Thank you for calling.
I'm going to push your sister. I'll be with you, okay, when they come. The woman thing. I will be on the front line marching for you, okay?
All right. Okay. Thank you.
God bless you.
I think by the woman thing, he's talking about our women's state of Black women in LA, which is coming up in June as we celebrate our anniversary. It'll be 4 years. Can you believe it? That we have been on the air with KBLA 4 years since we launched on Juneteenth, and we are celebrating by bringing together voices of Black Los Angeles Saturday, June 21st, 2025. It is all TBA. It's going to be a luncheon, a symposium at 10, a luncheon at noon. It'll be hosted by me, some amazing movers and shakers, and I'm glad you'll be there, Big Phil, because all are welcome, not just women, but we're looking at the state of Black women in Los Angeles, and I think it is an important topic. All right, speaking of the state of Black women in Los Angeles, getting off the Trump train for just a moment, there are new studies coming out, including one by Consumer Reports, that found that there are dangerous chemicals in a bunch of different brands of synthetic hair, the hair we get braided into our own hair, the so-called protective hairstyles and braided styles where we use, purchased hair. Some of it is human hair, some of it is synthetic. And sometimes people, wear them for long periods of time. Look, if I'm going to sit there and get my hair braided for hours, I'm going to be rocking it for a minute. Apparently, there's a bunch of cancer-causing chemicals found in this synthetic braiding products. After Consumer Reports sent samples of 20 different synthetic hairs out to a lab. They're made from something called Canicalan, first time I've heard of it. The Kanika brand, this one is one that was found to have carcinogens in it. Toyokalan, made by Denka Company, these synthetic hairs. And then Magic Fingers, Sensational Shake and Go. These are all brands. 9 out of the 10 brands that they looked at had high levels of lead, which causes all kinds of problems, including learning disabilities, violent behavior, just all kinds of problematic things for our brain and nervous system. And apparently there's no federal limits on how much lead they can put in braiding products. Do I feel part 2 of the Crown Act coming on, Supervisor Mitchell? Somebody... This was according to a scientist at the Environmental Working Group that even though they may be below the FDA standard for lead contamination in our cosmetics, that doesn't mean that it's not going to cause you health problems. And then, of course, when they put heat at the end, like sealing those braids, there's something called VOCs that are released. They're human-made chemicals, and it emits gas which can irritate your eyes, your nose, your throat. Benzene, methylene, chloride, and chloroform are all in synthetic hair products that can be absorbed through the skin and cause cancer. This is a huge industry. In fact, the extensions and wigs apparently like a $3 million industry. So what can you do? Well, preferably use human hair. I know it's more expensive. Use plant-based hair products. There's something called Rebundle. There's another called Lily and Augusta Beauty. I know those are probably more expensive. I haven't checked it out. But they typically cost 2 or 3 times as much as synthetic hair. The thing about human hair is if you take care of it, you can reuse it. And then the plant-based hair is biodegradable, so you could put it in your green bin when you're done with it, and you won't kill the planet, and you won't kill yourself. So just putting a 911 alert out to my sisters that wear a lot of braids and styles with different kinds of hair. If you can save up a little longer and get the human hair or plant-based hair, it's going to be a lot safer for you, right? And think about it. It's not just you. If you have kids, especially babies, they're all in your hair. They're pulling them braids. You got the hands up in there. Lead causes learning disabilities in children and adults. That's going to be a much bigger problem for a developing brain. Violent behaviors, depression, all kinds of things. And then, of course, Black women are more susceptible to breast cancer, meaning when we get it, we're more likely to die from it. So the last thing we need is anything that makes cancer in the body more likely. And so, thank you to Consumer Reports for doing this study. I hope that we'll spread the word, tell a friend. Human hair, plant-based hair. I didn't even know that was a thing. Rebundle, or or go bald. I'm not ready to do that yet. But these are the things that we need to spread the word about, because there are things that actually can save lives, especially when there's something that you can do about it. And if you are going to use synthetic hair, please, the very least you can do is wash that bad boy thoroughly, soak it, get as much of the crap off of it as you can. But I would rather you don't have toxic chemicals on your head. I'm just saying. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically outspoken. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, though.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wager bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
It is, and I'm so thankful you're here. If you want to weigh in like Phil did, you just call 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So the Trump administration, the Carolyn Leavitt lady, Leavitt liar-in-chief, said, person who's lying, darn it, I don't want to name call. Person who's engaging in lying behavior, anyway, whoever she is, says we're not going to cut Social Security, not cutting Medicaid, not cutting Medicare. But meanwhile, the Social Security website keeps crashing, even while DOGE, the Department of Grifters for Elon, is demanding further cuts to Social Security. That means people who are disabled or retired are now facing chronic website outages and access problems. They can't even log in to their online accounts, and they're being told they should do more of their business in person with. They're being told they need to do more of their business online, which is interesting because a lot of elders are not necessarily great with navigating computers. But the website keeps crashing, and it's down for 20 minutes or sometimes even a whole day. Then when it's back online, people are having trouble signing into their accounts. They have already started cost cutting. 7,000 jobs cut at Social Security. So how can you say you're not going to cut Social Security when you're already cutting it? It's in motion. They are trying to push out thousands more employees at Social Security, even after cutting 7,000 jobs. Now, mind you, Social Security was not the most efficient and smooth experience before the cuts. It was given DMV. Now it's given DMV, on syrup. They want a 50% cut into the technology division of Social Security. Why would you cut the technology division 50% right when you're telling more people to come and do their work online? They're claiming that the outages are because they've expanded their fraud check system. Well, you're talking about people expanding a fraud check system who don't understand the original system, and they're saying 115-year-olds are getting Social Security. No, they're still in the system because that's the way they keep track of people even after they're dead and what they've spent on them. It doesn't mean that they're still getting benefits. Apparently, according to the Washington Post, the DOGE staff didn't even test out this new fraud software against a high volume of users before putting it in one of the biggest systems in the country. For 2 days last week, according to the Washington Post, 7.5 million adults and children who get benefits under SSI received a message saying they're not currently receiving payments. That was an error, according to an internal memo that the Washington Post got a hold of. Of course, that set off panic until people noticed that their checks were actually in their bank accounts. So in other words, Mr. supposed technological genius has unleashed complete chaos on the Social Security system while telling people that that they're fixing fraud and telling people that they are not going to, in fact, cut Social Security. You don't need to cut it. You'll just render it totally useless. Yeah. Okay, time for our daily reminder of what you're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say Native American, non-binary, oppression, oppressive orientation, people plus uterus, people-centered care, person-centered care, polarization, political, pollution, pregnant people, pregnant person, pregnant persons, prejudice. Maybe I should have started with the A's. Privilege, privileges, promote diversity, promoting diversity, pronouns, or prostitute. If you're in government, strike those from your language and try to tell a story. Trump, and meanwhile, defending his tariffs. His administration was out en masse this weekend telling people, oh, it's temporary pain. We're going to make America great again. We're going to have all these great jobs, and it's going to be fine. We know that if Trump had received 5 minutes of the pain most Americans are feeling in their bank accounts, in their grocery bills, in their job losses, in their veteran cutbacks, and the frustration of calling Social Security after 7,000 employees that were laid off. If he had felt 5 minutes of that pain, he would have already shut this down. But he wants you to be patient. They claim 50 countries are burning the phone lines into the White House to try to negotiate about the tariffs. But what we're hearing is that they are implementing retaliation. They are hitting back, which is not at all surprising. Meanwhile, the president is meant to meet with Netanyahu to talk about Gaza, of course, and the tariffs. But what does he want to talk about Gaza? He wants to talk about the hostages, the Israeli hostages. This will be Netanyahu's second meeting with Trump since he took office. They put 17% tariffs on Israel, and of course he'll be welcomed in to talk about it. That's today, by the way, and it's already 18 months since Israel started their slaughter in Gaza. Meanwhile, the Israeli military is walking back their story. They said they killed 15 Palestinian medics and some UN personnel and injured a bunch of others last month. They said it was because the vehicle was advancing suspiciously, that they didn't have their headlights on, that they were advancing on troops without emergency signals. But then over the weekend, an Israeli military official said, whoops, we were mistaken. None of that actually happened. Why did they admit to lying? Because after all these people were killed, the Israeli soldiers used the bulldozers to cover up their bodies and their remains with dirt. So Red Crescent, which is the the medical brigade and civil defense teams along with UN, went in. They dug up those people so that they could have a proper burial. And out of the pocket of one of the dead people, they retrieved a phone which showed footage which absolutely contradicted the official story, showing that the personnel were trying to help an ambulance that was under attack, that they did have emergency lights on, that they were approaching cautiously per the protocols, and that they were shot at in a hail of weaponry, bullets that lasted 5 minutes. That's insane. So far, 150 emergency responders from Red Crescent and Civil Defense have been killed. Most of them were on duty, and over 1,000 other healthcare workers, which is according to the UN, and most of which the Israeli military won't even investigate. I almost called him Joe Biden, another old guy in the White House. Will Donald Trump ask Netanyahu about this today? I doubt it. And what was Red Crescent responding to was ambulances under attack by the military. This is terrible. And it's ongoing. And what's crazy is that now students, protesters, those who speak out are being threatened. And I don't think it's any mistake that the Trump administration, the Republican, the current new Confederate administration, is making sure we all see videos of students getting snatched up, of professors getting grabbed off the street by unmarked cops. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's meant to shut me up, shut you up, keep him from marching, keep her from protesting. But it's not working. It's not working at all. In fact, I think the more they do it and the more people march, like what we saw this weekend from coast to coast, the harder it's going to be to scare people. And the more you trash our economy, our jobs, our dignity, the more courageous people will get. Courage is contagious. News, traffic, and sports, and then we'll have a conversation with former U.S. Ambassador to Panama, John Feely. We're talking code switching on the highest level when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. A black family in North Carolina is suing 2 sheriff's departments for a botched raid on their home, causing physical and emotional damage. The lawsuit, filed by Avery Marshall and Elisa Carr, claimed officers ignored evidence and withheld vital information. Global markets are reeling from President Trump's tariff announcement. U.S. futures recovered slightly after a steep drop. Elon Musk suggested moving toward a zero-tariff situation and closer U.S.-Europe partnership. 4 girls are recovering after their uncle attacked them with a meat cleaver in Brooklyn, New York. Police shot the man, who is now in critical condition. The girls are expected to survive, and the uncle had a history of mental illness. And film and TV workers rallied for the Stay in LA campaign, seeking higher tax credits to keep